Hey guys, in this video we're going to be reviewing, or rather re-reviewing, this resin from Power Resins. This is their Opaque, and they've sent this over to us because they have done a reformulation. Opaque is basically a general purpose resin from Power Resins, and it's a little unclear exactly why they did this reformulation because a lot of their products work so well as is. But I think one of the main concerns, especially from what I hear from you guys in the community, is that Power Resins suffers from bed adhesion above all. And I must say that if this revision has anything to do with that, they have nailed it on the head. This version of Opaque stuck so well to our bed, it basically had to be chipped off. It's hard to say if there's been any change in the print times though, because we've updated our printers from the old RGB style. So we're talking more like 8 to 10 seconds or less when it comes to layer times. On an RGB type screen, you're probably going to be looking in the range of 15 to 20 seconds per layer, which is pretty high, making print times quite a bit higher than I might be comfortable with. We did all our testing on a Mars 3 and a Prusa SL1S with generally really good results. The SL1S tilting bed upgrade has made the printer really aggressive when it comes to the tilting mechanism. And a lot of the casting resins, especially casting resins, just don't seem to be able to handle it that well. I'm going to be exploring changing the FEP to something that's a little bit less sticky when it comes to the models. And we'll get this all figured out. But for now, the results on that were a little bit eh. So we've had to be printing all of our castables on the SL1S at the slowest possible tilt times to give it the best chance of success. The details on our prints were phenomenally good, as expected from a Power Resin product. I don't think there's going to be any major discrepancies between the version 1 and version 2 when it comes to this particular resin. We're going to be putting this through our normal casting procedure and casting these in bronze just to verify that the outcome is still really good. My only criticism for this resin in general is the color. I'm not a huge fan of light, semi-transparent resins in general. It just makes finding the quality issues that much harder, and nothing we can really do about it right now. Opaque is green, and they're probably not going to be changing that for my sake. Something that I'm going to be looking for in the casting results specifically is really sharp details. In other words, like on lettering, for example, where you have your plateau and then the side of the letter, and you just get that really sharp 90 degree. We've had some issues with those 90s coming out broken and just not casting overly well. Now, that's not something that's abnormal across the entire range of castables, but we're going to be looking for it specifically to see if that has been improved with version 2. So let's get these models taken off their supports. We'll get them sprued, invested, and cast overnight, and we'll be right back to show you guys the results.
One eternity later.
So we're finally back with the casting results for Opaque V2, and you notice that we have a little bit of a change going on. We're still kind of mid-renovation, but because everything's been torn apart, we now have things everywhere. Anyway, so the casts turned out wonderfully as per normal with Power Resins. The results were exemplary. There's nothing to really report, which is probably the best thing about a castable resin when it comes to the casting quality. I did notice a little bit of surface texture, but again, nothing that would alarm me at all that wouldn't come off with a normal polishing, sanding, buffing type sequence. Everything looks great across the board. We had the ultra small, really thin engagement ring turn out really well as the really thick signet ring. Typically with resins, you get one that excels at thinner materials or thinner casts, and then one that excels at thicker, and this one seems to just be really good across the board. So if you're in the market for a castable resin and you're not really sure what to get, you're not sure what kind of models you're going to actually be printing and casting, I definitely recommend giving Power Resin Opaque V2 a try. They have definitely solved that whole bed adhesion problem when it comes to this particular resin at least, and I think it's a great all-around choice to give it a shot. So that's all for this video. Make sure you get subscribed if you like this kind of content and you want to see more. Obviously, this is the first time we've ever really shown this whole little new studio backdrop thing. We're going to be definitely using it a lot more in the future, and we have quite a few more products that we're going to be going through later on, namely this guy, something that you've never seen before. This is Power Resin Yellow. They don't even have this listed on their website yet, so make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss that one. This is going to be a very interesting resin.